What is up, it's your boy J&W Boss in the building. We are back here for another edition of All Out Revolution. With about 2 episodes to go until AOA and AOR biggest pay-per-view of the year, breaking boundaries. We are right here in Nashville, Tennessee, the Music City. What's going to be a great night of action. First, we have Ashley Knight ahead of her last women's standing match with Chloe, one-on-one with Halie Victor. Can Ashley gain some momentum, continuing to breaking boundaries? Or will Halie be a perfect stop to that? I'm looking forward to seeing what these two women do tonight as these two will collide one-on-one. And then we also see the debut of Draven as they take on Brandon in singles action. We saw Draven show up last week, bash Brian and Brandon both with a steel chair. And then we see him left Brandon land. So tonight, are they going to dance the night away? Let's see what happens. We're actually going to kick things off with our AOR World Champion, Mr. Jackson Wade. And the last time we saw our AOR World Champion, we actually saw him in action on the previous episode in a 3-on-2 handicap match. As him, Johnny Evil, and Simon Ortiz were successful in defeating the team of Nate Shield and Dwayne Frost. But also on that same night, he kind of got called out by RJ Miles, and he kind of refused that challenge. And that led to a whole thing with Brian Dexter, but nonetheless, that was last week. This time around, we wonder what the world is on the world champion's mind, as he is about 2 episodes away from facing Nate Shield at Breaking Boundaries in New York City for the AOR World Championship. And Jackson Wade has admitted Nate Shield is going to be his toughest challenge to date. And we've seen Nate a lot of times. He's been on his A game for real. I mean, ever since he won that gauntlet match, he's been on his A game. He fell short during the 3-on-2 handicap match last episode. But ever since then, you can say, other than that, you can say that Nate Shield definitely, he's going to be on one. He's going to be Jackson's toughest opponent to date. And of course, Jackson not going to hide the fact that he feels confident in himself. Not going to hide the fact that he feels that he's the man around here. Not going to hide the fact that he is that AOR World Champion, and that the fact that he is sitting at the top of his throne in All Out Revolution, as you may say. Crazy enough, we may got some people here in Nashville who are on the side of Mr. Jackson Wade, despite how crazy that sounds. And then the Top Flight Warriors been running amok, and not just him. We saw Brandino, what he did to Nick Carter last week was absolutely reprehensible. And that Nick Carter going to be out of action for several months as a result of that. So thank you, Brandino and Top Class Warrior. Let's hear what's on the mind of the world champion. Top Class Warriors are at the top of the throne for a reason. Last week, I, along with Johnny Evil and Simon Ortiz, absolutely ran over Nate Shield and Dwayne Frost because Nate decided to challenge us to a 3-on-2 handicap match and thought we wasn't going to pull it off. But he learned. He may have gotten the better of me in our little backstage exchange, but he learned inside this ring no one can touch me. And Brandino, my man, last week you ran wild on Nick Carter. You obliterated that no-life in Nick Carter. And you made a name for yourself in Top Class Warrior, man. So for that, I am proud of you. I'm very proud of you. And I can promise you this much. That ain't going to change. Our dominance is not going anywhere because Nate at Breaking Boundaries for this AOR World Championship, I promise you, I will remain at the top of the throne. I will still keep my place at the top of All Out Revolution. And I can promise you that... Wait a minute. You're right, Jackson. You came out here, you ran through Nate, you ran through Dwayne, but you also ran from RJ.
Well, Brian.
See, your real champion, Jackson, wouldn't find an excuse to duck a challenge. You gave RJ that last chance stipulation Because I think deep down inside, you're afraid of him actually beating you one-on-one. Because you know he can do it before. You know he can do it because he's done it before. So I think, to me, Jackson, you're an absolute coward. You ain't a champion. Oh, I'm not. Yet I've beaten some of the best competition here. I beat JB, beat RJ, and I've beaten anybody that stood in front of me. Brian, you might not want to add yourself to that list. I promise you, man. This ain't the time to play hero. Oh, I'm not playing hero. I'm not playing hero. I'm coming at you as a man that knows a thing or two about respect, knows a thing or two about honor. So here's the thing. How about I challenge you to a one-on-one match? Non-title. With the stipulation of, if I win, that last chance stipulation that you have on RJ is lifted. Which means he can challenge for that world championship since you're the champion. Brian, I get it. That's your friend, that's your boy, that's your partner, that's whatever you want to call him. But you don't know who you stepping in the ring with. But since I'm in a good mood, I will oblige you. But I'm going to oblige you next week because I need this time off this week. And Brian, you're going to be a perfect warm-up for my match with Nate Shields at Breaking Boundaries. So next week, you versus me. If you beat me, that last chance stipulation is lifted for RJ. Deal. Under 2 conditions. Number 1, you give Brandino a global championship match right now since I feel he's earned that. But number 2, I need to see if you're able to beat a world champion, someone who is world champion caliber. So, how about you face Brandino for the global championship, and whether you win or lose or whatever, you face an opponent of my choosing again in the main event. You're on. Get out the ring, Jackson. Brandino and I, we're going to have that match right now. Well, way to stack the deck, Jackson. Could have just gave him the match right then and there, but nah, let's stack the deck, why don't? But if you're Brian, talk about a golden opportunity. I mean, you get the chance to be in the ring with the world champion, but you have to defend the global championship, and Jackson, you're going to leave the ring? You can't leave. Oh, of course. Oh, of course, Jackson with a cheap shot. And probably all they did was fire Brian up even more, but Brian Dexter, I got to say, talk about having some guts. I mean, talk about having some guts, talk about having, some wits about you. And Jackson, we're going to step to the side and let his boy Brandino take over. You know what I'm saying? Talk about having some guts if you're Brian Dexter. I mean, because let's put this in perspective here. He has a match tonight, right now, against Brandino for the Global Championship. He's going to have a match in our main event against somebody that Jackson Wade has in mind for him. Then, the following episode, the Go Home Show to Breaking Boundaries, he's going to face Jackson Wade in a one-on-one matchup. And then not long after that, at Breaking Boundaries, he's going to be defending his global championship on the Breaking Boundaries pre-show. Talk about having a busy work schedule if you are Brian Dexter. But the thing I applaud about Brian is that he's willing to go through all of that in the first place. And right now he has to face Brandino, who took out Nick Carter. And I don't know about Nick Carter being a lowlife, but Top Class Warriors are going to think what Top Class Warriors do. Brian Dexter handed that championship over to the referee, and apparently for the second week in a row, probably for the second or third week in a row, actually, we're going to kick the night off with a global championship match. And I got to say, I think Brian Dexter holding on to that title is a pretty good thing here. I mean, given what we've been getting from Brian Dexter over the past couple of weeks, and here we go. Like I said, we're about 2 episodes out from Breaking Boundaries, and I would like to welcome you guys to another edition of All Out Revolution. Of course, at any point during this episode, you feel so inclined, feel free to click the like, comment, and subscribe, and also click the bell icon that way you don't miss another AOR or TNA upload. And right now, speaking of not missing anything, Brian is hitting that 100% accuracy with the strike there and then just slamming Brandino hard into the mat here. Good. Kick right there. Just big rocket kick. Absolutely blasting Brandino. And Brandino tried to start this thing off with a strike exchange of some sort. And clearly that has not worked out in the favor of Brandino here. Brian Dexter is on fire. Brian Dexter is absolutely on a roll. And keep in mind, we do have the action draft that will be taking place following Breaking Boundary, the two-night event in which any champion is eligible to be drafted. Any champion, any roster member, anyone, no one is exempt from being drafted. Straight into a cover here, 2-0. And we can assure you guys, by the way, there's one other important rule that the draft has put in place, that if you're already on the roster, if you're already on the roster and your name does not get called, you're staying right where you're at. So if either of these two guys' names don't get called, they're staying where they're at. That's the rule. Anyways, right now we're going to focus on draft stuff. When we get to the draft, right now we got a global championship, and Brandino has finally got the upper edge and catching Brian with a drop kick. Let's not underestimate Brandino here. I mean, we've seen this guy. We know how good this guy is. There's a reason. I got to say, I may not like top-class warriors in the slightest, but I think Jackson Wade did the right thing when he put Brandino like his right-hand man, as you may say. And Brandino tried to go for a cover and didn't really work out there. And immediately catching Brian with a clothesline, doing a good job keeping he was keeping the big man down, but it looks like he's going to follow up with something here. Ooh, man. Leg layer, and it's always beautiful when he hits it. You know, no matter who you are, no matter what your size is, it's definitely gonna rattle you a bit. And now look at that. Oh, man, Brandino, sorry, is gonna continue the offense. Great springboard kick right to the side and the head of the swanton. Driving down right on Brian Dexter. Brian Dexter is in trouble here to kick at it too. Brandino actually does own a win over the current #1 contender for the AOR World Championship in Nate Shield. There was a little bit of controversy thanks to Madison Phillip, but he does definitely own that victory. And look at this, going to go for that brain buster, and he hits it. And we usually see that brain buster set up for the Eagles landing. Let's see if he can hit it. Let's see if he can knock this one out of the park. Brandino getting up to it, or telling Brian to get up to his feet, sitting there thinking Eagles landing. Not happening today, but props to Brandino for able to continue to follow up and catch him with the bulldog there. And Brian, ooh, man. Brian with a vicious uppercut. And look at Brian. Brian got Brandino in a world of trouble. Inverted Alabama slam for the second time. Talk about the whiplash on that. Now you got this big man get back in control, and beautiful side step on the part of Brandino straight into the scoop. Throwing off that power there. Now look at this. Gonna go right for the submission. Try to wear him down even more. Maybe get a tap out victory here. I think if you're Brandino, you got to do a little bit more damage here. It looks like he get propped in Brandino. He's ready. He's on there. On the game right now. A couple of jabs there. And just feeling every bit of confidence, but probably not the best guy to be doing that again. If you are Brandino and Brian Dexter now, you're hitting on some A1 stuff. Fight buster. And now this is where your boy can get cooking. Now this is where you can cook with Jackson. Oh, and man, hand to Brandino in the process. Why not? Yeah, why not? Halie Victor. Doesn't work. Gotta continue. You can potentially put it away here. Right in the midsection, kick right in the midsection again. Oh, over the top rope goes from Brian Dexter this time. Look at this. Brandino up top. Follow suit, boy. Ooh. Crash straight into the floor. Oh. Crash straight into the floor. And Brian Dexter using his power, rolling through the triple teardrop suplexes. Absolutely leveling Brandino. Man, talk about going high risk and it not paying off, but it didn't pay off right there in the slightest. Uh-oh. Yep. Might be wrapping up here. Curb thump, baby. Nice. Curb thump connect straight into the cover. This might be a wrap here for Brandino, and no, it is not to get up two. We're not underestimate the toughness of Brandino. I can promise you that. Brandino's a tough cat, and Brian feeling like he can end this one. He's going to close the book right here. Let's see if he can get it. Ooh, no. That was like a little bit too much time there. And the showboating a bit, tossed into the corner. Look at that Olympic slam from Brandino, and now Brandino feeling it. Brandino knows he got to move and move quickly to end this one. They didn't get enough distance. We're probably sitting there thinking about that Eagles landing. Couldn't get enough distance on it. And now he's going to follow up air raid crash net breaker. About to be over. Potentially about to be a wrap for Mr. Dexter. Mr. Dexter is in trouble. Got him up on the top rope here. Brandino bring him up to the top. Oh no. Oh, this isn't good looking. Oh man. Rolling senton off the top rope, and Brandino now gonna proceed to follow Swanton bomb for the second time in this matchup. It is gonna be enough to take out Dexter, and it almost was. We almost had a new global champion. And if Top Class Warrior needs any more gold, they would have had it right there. Brain Buster, we might be on the way to that victory. Backing up in the corner. And Brandino feeling it. He knows he got Brian Dexter hurt. He knows he got him down. He got him out. Still feeling confident. Still doing too much. Still can't find a way to hit that Eagles landing. Get your spacing right, man. Leg play. All right, here we go. Now we got it. Now he got it. Eagles landing. No. Now I think Brian saw that one coming. Uh-oh. Off the ropes he goes. Oh, belly to belly. Nice. Great work from Brandino now. Come on, girl. You got to hit this one. You got to hit it. He's been trying to hit it all match. Nope, he does not hit it again. He doesn't hit it again. Brian got him up over his shoulder. That is 5 putting him down. Well, got caught with it once. And I think he might be the nail in the coffin for Brandino. The second one to be inspired. That might as well be a wrap for Brandino. Yes, it is. And still, your global champion. And check this out. Brandino had several shots to hit that Eagles landing. It didn't work out. And then F5 number 1. And then here you see it, F5 number 2. All of that leading to the 1, 2, 3. And Brian Dexter retaining his global championship. Wow. I mean, talk about something that was. Hey, Brian, a little aggressive there, but all right, fair enough, I guess. Brian Dexter, still the global champion, and now we have to advance to our main event to face someone in a main event, whoever that may be, whoever is picked out by Mr. Jackson Wade. Well, what a great win. What a victory for. So, I get the chance to travel to All Out Action this week to be in the corner of Carolyn and Angelina just in case something goes crazy with Carmen in this workout. Well, listen, I'm happy to be able to go to AOA and potentially see some of the competition that I may have to face if I get drafted over there. But it's also going to be a joy watching, Carmen kind of get what she deserves, with all the trash talking she's doing. It's going to be great to see it. And it's also going to be great that at Breaking Boundaries, I'm going to be taking that AOR Women's Championship. And wait a second, there's Carmen right there. And Carmen's sitting there getting the jump on Gloria. And what Gloria is referring to is that this coming week on All Out Action, it will be Carmen teaming with the AOA Women's Champion and Miss Wilcox to take on the team of Carolyn Amber and Angelina Spears. And Gloria's going to be at ringside. But for right now, she's getting the beat down by Carmen. And I guess, if you're, oh no, she got the fire extinguisher in hand. The fire extinguisher right to the head of Gloria. Absolutely ridiculous. And if you're Carmen in this case, I really think Gloria has gotten in her head more than she's willing to let on. I think Gloria has gotten into the head of Carmen, and I think deep down inside, Carmen probably never going to admit it, but I believe that deep down inside, Carmen feels that her chances of retaining that women's championship is slowly slipping away. No wonder. The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, at a combined weight of 436 pounds, they are the All Out Revolution Tag Team Champions Alexander Spike and Seth Byrne, Wolfpack. And the question you gotta ask is if Wolfpack days of the All Out Revolution Tag Team Champions, are they numbered? Because they have to face the Millennium Riders, but the problem is, it seems that, admittedly, I want to say ever since World Collide, you may argue, that Wolfpack hasn't been, on that same level that they were at before. They haven't been hitting their stride. You can say Wolfpack maybe have gotten a little bit complacent in their role that they are tag team champions. They might want to hurry up and get the Mac right in them soon, because they got 2 more episodes to go before they have to defend those championships against the Millennium Riders. And their opponent, at a combined weight of 525 pounds, thin and rad, the Raid of Apocalypse. The center half begin to make their way down to the ring. You have to ask yourself, if you are, first, if you're Raid of Apocalypse here, this is a golden opportunity to really stamp your name in this tag team division, especially right before an upcoming draft. Golden opportunity to stamp your name in this division. We saw what these two are capable of. We saw how good these guys are. On a few occasions, especially doing kind of the bidding of the Taskmaster and taking out the crew. So let's see what they can do here against the tag team champions. Seth Byrne and Wrath is starting this one off. Here we go. Ooh. Wrath, knowing they can vary for the mixed martial arts, I'm actually not surprised he's starting this one off in a bit of a striking approach here. But if you try to go to that speed route, Seth Byrne is going to have you beat every which way. Now look at that. Oh, wow. Beautiful combination there on the part of Wrath, and Seth Byrne is in a world of trouble. Look at this. Oh, trying to go for a net breaker of some sort. That's able to push him off. Great forearm. And look at this. Hip toss, bring them over. Knee charge right to the jaw. Excellent work there. If you are the Wolfpack, if you are the tag team champion, and if you are Wolfpack, you also really need to kind of I hope these guys that within the past couple of weeks have done some serious reevaluating of what they're going to need to do. Because that breaking boundaries in New York, they're going to end up facing the Millennium Riders. And talk about a team that's been determined, talk about a team that has been will-driven, talk about a team that's going to want to do literally anything and everything it takes for them to become the AOR Tag Team Champions. And, oh, man. And the tag and Nathan is now in the match. And Finn is now beating the brakes off of Seth. That's Burn in a heap of trouble. Yeah, they're going to be facing the Millennium Rider for the Tag Team Championships, and given that the Millennium Rider was in the match to become the first ever AOR Tag Team Champion, and they lost that match to the Cabal in a ladder match back at Live On. You can only imagine what they're going to want us to do, this time around on their second attempt here in a beautiful side slam. And Seth Burn now within a heap of trouble. Finn now going for the cover, straight into the cover. And a kick out. But wait a minute, look at, Spike was able to break it up, actually. I believe Spike was able to break it up, but immediately gets shut down. And now the Raid of Apocalypse is running completely wild here over the Tag Team Champions in a back suplex. Dropping Seth Burn down. Wrath is on a roll here in this one. Look at that, trying to, up over the top, beautiful work. Beautiful work, and now, wait a minute now. Then with the interference, and Seth Burn is able to fight them all. Seth Burn with a kick to the midsection. Seth Burn trying to turn this one around, but then with a cheap shot to the back of the head. Net breaker from Wrath, and Seth Burn needs to get out of this corner ASAP. He needs to get out of this situation here. And this is not a good look, but man, have fun seeing anything. The only thing you saw was a straight up knee right to his face. And Alexander Spike breaking things up. And look at that. Then immediately going to put him back down again. That's Burn now is still in a heap of trouble over there. Tag made. Here comes Finn once again. Off the ropes. Here we go. Oh. Wow. That double shoulder tackle, and Wrath getting an extra shot in. And now look at that. He's going to stomp and use him as a stepping stone practically. All that weight down on your rib. Oh, jeez. And the Wolfpack is in some serious trouble. They need to do something to turn this matchup around. Because again, it's stuff like this, and you can argue, as mentioned, they may have gotten, a bit complacent during their time as Tag Team Champions. Oh, wow. Absolutely dropped them straight into a cover. And Wolfpack able to break things, or Alexander Spike able to break things up. Wrath now is continuing to put the pressure on Spike, keeping Burn completely. Burn laid out on the ground. Let's start there. And keeping Spike completely at bay. Beautiful combination. Excellent work. Oh, trying to go for that uppercut. Seth Burn back on his feet now. Wrath's kind of whipping that one. But now, Seth unfortunately is in a 2-on-1 situation here. But wait a second. He's going to send Wrath out to the floor, and Seth Burn busted open. I didn't even realize that. Seth Burn is busted open there. But look at that, the DDT. Putting Wrath down and then getting back in the ring. Then trying to go at Burn. And not the best idea. Immediately gets caught with a Hurricane Rana. Wrath is now getting back to his feet. Seth Burn has been holding his own here. This is the first wide open door that we've had for Wolfpack all matchup. And what a great way to turn it around if you're Wolfpack. Spike is back up to his feet. Perfect timing if you're Wolfpack. Gonna get him up to his feet. And wait a minute. It's coming around the backside. Flipping the leg. Oh, puts him down on the canvas. Now wait a minute. Look at Spike though. Coming in for the save with the senton. And now Spike. Look at that. Oh! Spike trying to stop. Look like he's probably a bit too delirious. From all the shots he's taken there. And the Rats looked like he was going to go for a round 2 as far as Burns' shot was concerned. But Spike able to get in, catching them with the elbow. And that hopefully gave Burns enough time, and it seemed to have done that. Gave Burns enough time to get back up to his feet and to turn this one around here. And immediately does that. Tag is made. Finally, Spike gets in this matchup. And look at this. Look at the combination. Excellent. Excellent combination. Look at this. Oh! Excellent job right there. These two guys are putting in work. Ooh. This is back elbow. The only team in AOA and AOR history to hold both tag team titles, and Spike and Burn being a multi-time tag team champion, and Spin around admittedly is not doing too bad against these guys here. You guys ready to put in work. These two guys are on a roll. Great elbow. Great headbutt, sorry. Now the elbow. Ooh, man, got him up on against the rope. That's an ugly look. This has just been an ugly beat down here with Alexander Spike. Ooh. Man, kicking this dude from here to Timbuktu and back. That's doing a turnbuckle. You know ain't nothing good coming from this one. Absolutely nothing good is coming from this one. No. Oh, driving him head first. Right into the turnbuckle, and the crowd is on their feet for this one. And oh man, that cut on Spike got open pretty quickly, pretty severely. If you are spiking this one, man, talking about taking a rough shot to the head against that turnbuckle. Oh, that shot like that doesn't help matters. No. Look at that. That was a choke slam. Putting him down. And that might be a wrap for Spike. But oh, look at that. The toughness of Alexander Spike is shining through right there. Ray of Apocalypse need to take this one home if they can. I think they got the capability to do it. But will they? That is the question. Here we go. DDT from Spike. Excellent work. Excellent work with the DDT. Great forearm there from Spike. Spike with a kick right to the side of the head. Oh, come on. That's now with a cheap shot. That's with a cheap shot. I guess I'm not too surprised there. You are kind of in the wrong corner. But look at Spike getting his revenge with the DDT. And now sits on the outside, and he immediately got hit with a savate kick. And wait a minute. Oh, beautiful senton out to the floor. Spike is trying to turn this one around. Spike is on a roll. Oh, kick right to the back from Rasmus. Oh, great counter from Spike. Immediately back on one. Oh, gee. And a heartache on the ref, and now then bringing Spike back in the ring. Apocalypse now they're a little bit on the back foot here. Great counter from Spike. Send them over. Here we go. Look at this. The thrill of the hunt connect. Brings them in again. Tag. Thrill of the hunt for the second time around. They still ain't done. I mean, they won numerous tag team championships with this Thrill of the Hunt finisher, and they're going to go for it again. Good. Now we're bringing that one up. I thought it was about to be it right there. Oh. Drop kicking to the outside he goes, but then still by himself. This man is still by himself. And he can even figure out where the heck he's at this point. Oh, great counter. Ooh. Great counter from Burn. He's trying to get back into it, but I think we're going to get denied. Gorilla the one again. This is over. This is absolutely over. Well, I think Burn the Tension was pure, but it failed. And nonetheless, Wolfpack still wins this matchup, man. Check this out, boy. Real hard, man. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful move. And Burn tried to, Burn tried it, but it didn't work. Your winner, Wolfpack. Wolfpack wins as they pick up a win finally. Going into Breaking Boundaries, can they keep that same energy? Can they keep that same mojo to retain their tag team championship? We will see. What a win there for Wolfpack. Congratulations to these guys. Talk about, need to be hit out of 10. And they did that tonight. As we move on to some women's action. The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Cameron, North Carolina, weighing in at 132 pounds, Ashley Knight. Well, Ashley Knight has a date with Destiny at Breaking Boundaries, as mentioned before, her last woman standing match against Chloe Sharp. And things got a little bit personal between the two a couple of weeks ago when, first Chloe threatened to come to Ashley's place of location if she didn't show up in the arena. She showed up, and she kicked the daylife out of Chloe because of that. And so tonight, as you see, really ever since Last Stand, you can say, Ashley has been definitely feeling a bit different. She usually rushes down to the ring, blowing kisses at the crowd and everything and all that. But ever since Last Stand, you can tell that there's been a different side to Ashley. She's been, a bit more vicious, a bit more serious in her approach to this in-ring competition, and even just the way she's always taking it seriously, mind you, but just the way she approaches the ring. Now a bit more methodical, now a bit more, paced, now a bit more deliberate. And now you can tell from the look on her face, she got a point to prove. She got a definite point to prove. And here comes her opponent for the evening. And her opponent from Phoenix, Arizona, weighing in at 170 pounds, Halie Victor. Halie Victor making her way down to the ring. Talk about someone who really came into All Out Revolution at the beginning of the season and have made her name known. Came in, immediately had her issues with Candy and Sassy Vega. And then once she got rid of Candy and Sassy Vega, she didn't really need Gloria Bass with her. And attacked Gloria Bass and made it known to her that, hey, I'm moving on. I'm done with you. I don't need you anymore. And ever since then, I'm guessing, has been taking, inspiration from Carmen, because Carmen did approach her and say, hey, maybe you need somebody to coach you. And Ashley and Halie was kind of contemplating it. It looked like there was a little bit of an alliance formed between Halie and Carmen. I guess either now there's this coaching and done in just private, or Halie says, forget that, I don't even need her. And that's probably my guess of what happened. Maybe Carmen got sick of her attitude. Take your pick. Now look at that, Halie talking her stuff, but Ashley ain't backing down. Ashley immediately getting into the ring here, and here we go. Matchup's underway, and immediately with a scoop slam from Halie. Oh man, Halie throwing off that, showing off that vicious streak of her own. Look at that. That repeated strike. Absolutely leveling Ashley, and Ashley was able to counter. And we're going to need to see Ashley have a vicious streak, because she's going to need to win a last woman standing match against Chloe Sharp at Breaking Boundaries. We saw these two compete in a standard one-on-one contest. We've seen these two in the same ring in triple threat action. Fall count anywhere with their most recent encounter back at Last Stand, in which Ashley won the match by hitting a frog splash off the top of the truck, but hurt her own ribs in the process. And so hopefully these two ladies are pretty determined that Breaking Boundaries will be the last outing between these two. Will it happen? Only time will tell. Especially depending on how this draft ends up too. Right now, man, let's not sleep on the fact that Halie is in firm control of this matchup, and Halie is going immediately towards the battery that I mentioned on the part of Ashley. Halie very prone for using her kind of a mixed martial art style in a way. Wasn't really the most, wasn't really the best growing up. And wait a second now, Halie, locking it like an anaconda vice. It may be a wrap for Ashley here. And no, it is not. And I was saying Halie, not really the best in the world. Never really known for her positive attitude and her demeanor. I promise you that. And she got suspended numerous times, growing up for fighting. And then she used all that rage and anger and aggression to take up, a little bit of kickboxing and mixed martial arts, but always found professional wrestling in her style. And Ashley tried to hit a very high-risk professional wrestling move with that moonsault and completely ate the mat because of it. And now Halie kicking away, methodically kicking away at the leg, and the knee of Ashley there. Excellent work. And Ashley now is getting worn down here from Halie. And Halie got all the capabilities to make it to the top of any women's division she steps into. Like the Punk Queen, and look at this. And then work continuously. And look at that beautiful Hurricane Runner. Yo! Talk about a shocker with that one. Nice work, Ashley. Nice. And his fly attempt for Button. They really work out there. Ooh, the scoop slam and Halie wanted the elbow drop. And go straight for the cover after that one. Not a bad idea. And kick out at 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we only got 2 more matches on tonight's card. Coming up next will be the debut of Draven in All Out Revolution as he faces Brandon. And then it will be our main event between Brian Dexter and whoever the heck Jackson Wade has lined up for. And we're getting back in, though, trying to go for a heel kick. The block kick miss. Needing the. Actually catching a flush right there, but nah, we ain't about to do none of that. But Halie, great counter of her own. Flipped over the top of the backside. Immediately for the cover. Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know if I would have done that, Halie. I really don't know if I would have done that. And I guess Halie, she feels like she got a point to prove it. She does. But when Peter strikes it again, stomping back on the bad ribs. But let's not underestimate Halie. I'm sorry. Halie may be having a difficulty, trying to find herself. But I think once she finds it, she's going to be a dangerous asset to All Out Revolution. And Ashley was learning that first hand here in this matchup. She has to pretty much catch her breath after the onslaught that Haley's given her. Oh, the great arm drag though from Ashley. Ashley saw her coming. Used that veteran instinct that she got. And catches it with an arm drag. Flies at it again. I wouldn't keep going to that well or Halie if I were you. I would just keep doing the striking. You had a game plan. And now Ashley is executing her game plan. That high risk, high reward mentality. Throws a rip first into the announce table. Bouncing her head off the announce table this time. Throwing a rip first again. On the third time. 3 times against that announce table. And bouncing her head off it once again. The spinning kick to the midsection not really working out for you. On him back inside the ring, and now Ashley feeling like she got this one. Oh! Great net breaker from Ashley. Ashley is feeling it right now. Ashley now going to the top rope. How in the world is she going to continue shooting? Star press. That's how she's going to do it. Straight into a cover, which may do it for a win. And there it is. So close and so far away. Been a minute since I said that. It's so close, yet so far away. For Halie. Or for Ashley. To Halie. Bringing it here. Excellent counter. Might be setting up for that GTS. Might be setting up for that GTS. It might be a wrap. Got her up. Oh, never mind. Get that mess out of here. Tonight on all cylinders, partner. And now what? Uh-oh. Got the throw this thing. Gave me right to the jaw. And she usually uses that to set up for that triangle choke, but this time gonna go for a cover off of it. And she just not getting actually kicking at it too. What a contest these two are putting on here. You gotta resort to something. Go back to that. If you're Halie, go back to that submission game. It's in your arsenal. But I guess it's easy for me to sit there and say in the commentary booth up in the skybox, especially since we're not the one down there inside that ring. I think it's just sound strategy. And speaking of, man. Woo. Absolutely vicious. Absolutely vicious. Oh, wait, no. Oh, gotta go for it again, but misses. Got to go for it again, but misses. Oh, great counter from Halie. Halie trying to keep on her way. She's well on her way. Knee strike again. Of a running variant this time. She is well on her way. She might have it. Hips off. Yeah, hips off. Help me out. Anyway, stomping away. And the woman Out in Nashville's loving it. Out in Nashville's on their feet for this one. Oh, man. The stiffness of jab right to the mouth of Ashley Knight. Great counter from Halie. Oh, gotta go for that knee to the rib. Ooh, get caught with a back elbow for trouble. Spanish fly, got it. Ashley knowing to use that Spanish fly, using it to success right there. Frog flash to Halie. Ooh, got to the midsection. Beautiful arm drag. Halie going to the outside, springboard over the top. These two women have been putting on a banger here, and Ashley going to the top. Here we go. Frog flash down to the floor. That's the type of high-risk stuff I'm talking about with Ashley. She'll take flight. She'll do that. She'll get down. She'll see what she can do. Uh-oh. He's feeling it now. He's on our A-game. GTS. Got it. Ashley Knight. GTS. Match is over. What a win. What a win for Ashley Knight. Here we go. I mean, this was towards the tail end of the match here. No frog flag. GTN, and this was all well and good. This was done and dusted for Halie Victor. Here's your winner, Ashley Knight. Ashley Knight picking up the win, gaining momentum on the road to breaking boundaries with her last woman standing match. And oh, wait a minute, Ashley now. I'm taking a look at things. Wait a second, here comes Chloe. Chloe Sharp, the woman that Ashley will be facing in that last woman standing match. And what the world is Chloe coming out here? Congratulations. You're once again putting on a show. Doing what you do best. You're doing what you do best, except being better than me. Because Ashley, you know, deep down inside, I got every capability of beating you. Because yes, you were the first women's champion. But guess who was the second? Me. In fact, I was your first defense for that championship, wasn't I? But then I lost the championship to Carmen, and then you ruined my opportunity at Live On. When I say this come to an end between you and I at Breaking Boundaries, I mean it. Whatever happens, I don't ever want to see you in my life again. And you're lucky that I'm letting you stand right now after your attack from a couple of weeks ago, because I want you at 100% for Breaking Boundaries. Is it that you want me at 100%, or is it the fact that you know if you take a swing, I'm knocking you out right here? Because the reason I came at you on a previous little altercation was because you threatened me and coming to my place of location. But I'm trying to figure out where is this coming from. I know it was once about the Women's Championship, but since that title was in neither of our possession, where is this coming from? Well, I can tell you where it's coming from. It's coming from a place of I feel so constricted. I feel so restricted because of you. I feel restricted because of you, because everywhere I go, you so happen to be. Every time I make a move here in All Out Revolution, you always try to move with me. Every time I'm going for that Women's Championship, it's convenient that you always have to be in the picture. And I'm sick and tired of it. So this last woman standing match, it's a simple method to a simple solution. I want you gone, and I'm going to do it myself to make sure it happens. Simple problem and a simple solution. So if you think I'm going to be a simple solution to get rid of, then you don't know who the world you've been in the ring with for the past year or so. See, this started episode back in episode 1 with you. I had the Women's Championship, but then you kept chasing me. You was on the chase for me and what I had. And yeah, when I lost it, of course, I was going to do what I can to get it back, because that's what a former champion does. That's what you did. That's how we ended up in the triple threat match. And admittedly, Chloe, after that triple threat, I was going to go find myself and do something different. And after taking that loss to Kimiko, I was going to find myself and come back. But you had to attack me, thus keeping this alive, keeping it personal. So Chloe, you want to take it there? Let's take it there. You want to get personal and get personal. You want to get violent? Let's get violent. And at Breaking Boundaries, I'm going to be the last one standing. And ain't nothing you or anyone else can do about it. A very heated exchange between these two women. But who's going to be the last woman standing? Come Breaking Boundaries. Who's going to write the final chapter in this rivalry once and for all? Is it going to be Chloe Sharp? Or is it going to be Miss Ashley Knight? Looks like they may get it on right here with all this posture and going back and forth. We may get a little preview right here, right now. It looks like these two are going to settle it for a different day. Brian, listen, man. What you did out there tonight, pretty bold of you. Going up to Jackson Wade, challenge him head on like that and beating little lackey Brandino. You know what, man? You forever got my respect. And I got your back tonight, just in case something happened. All I'm here to say, man, good luck. Wow. Benicio giving that respect to Brian. He did deserve it. He's going to be in our main event. We're going to see who he is facing. As Nate Shield, as I mentioned, is facing Jackson Wade for the world title. The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, weighing in at 220 pounds, Brandon. There comes Brandon making his way down to the ring. I gotta say, if you're Brandon, you're feeling a bit good about yourself. I mean, it's been a minute since we saw Brandon. He showed up last week. Prevented Alex from attempting to end Brian Dexter's career, making that save. and then getting rid of Alex out of the equation. But then later on, after defeating Caden Miles, having to deal with Draven and his antics. And so tonight he finally gets to get his hands on Draven. In Draven's AOR debut. So let's see how this works. Let's see if it's going to work out for Brandon. I mean, Brandon and Alex have a long history we can get into. Right now the focus is on this man right here. And introducing his opponent, accompanied by Alex from Death Valley, weighing in at 220 pounds, Draven. Oh, Draven making his AOR debut. Stated on the last episode that tonight we're going to dance. We're going to dance the night away. I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of dancing going on, especially since Brandon probably up the mind to beat the brakes off this man. But knowing that Alex is going to be a factor at ringside, this is not about to be a pleasant experience for Mr. Brandon, and I'm sure Brian Dexter will be out here if he didn't have his business to deal with Jackson Wade and whoever the heck his opponent is in the main event. But nonetheless, Draven with Alex at ringside versus Brandon and Let's Go. And Brandon starting this one off hot, as I mentioned. He was going to start this one off hot, especially getting jumped by Draven on the previous episode of All Out Revolution. And actually just throwing hands. And you know, a part of it is not just coming from, oh, snap, cross body sending both men to the outside. But I was saying a part of this isn't just because of what Draven did. A part of this is also the hurt that he's feeling from Alex. I mean, his own son turning his back on him all those months ago back at Last Stand. And the fact that at every possible turn, Alex keeps goading him and taunting him and mocking him and everything. And Brandon admittedly seems to not want to fight Alex. He doesn't want to argue with him. He doesn't want to go back and forth and do this whole bickering thing with him. He's trying to make it right. He's trying to get things right between him and Alex, which I can commend that, because they made it to the top. They became tag team champions regardless. I mean, yes, they literally held it for didn't even hold it till the end of the night, but they made it to the top. So, I mean, if Brandon can keep this same game face on and Alex keep his game face on, I think this time around they could be a definite serious threat to the tag team division. But right now, Alex is going to cause a distraction, which is going to allow Draven to get back to his feet. And these two, now Draven using that opening that Alex gave him the absolutely take the head off of Brandon. It was a very, very weird cat. Okay? Definitely a very, very weird cat. Ooh! Snake eye. Powerbomb. And Draven now is absolutely on a roll. I think this is a clear case of don't let the hype fool you. It's clearly showing a very vicious streak right now, beating the brakes off of Brandon. Headbutt again, jumping DDT. I think Draven deterred here. Probably didn't expect this matchup to start how it did. And now Draven is back on the roll with a kitchen sink right to the rib. And immediately follow out with a stiff right hand. And Alex throwing in a chair. And as far as the relationship that Alex and Draven have, it's a very weird dynamic. You have Draven, who's apparently been serving as a mentor to Alex in a way, kind of showing him the rope, showing him what it takes, and showing him what it means to be successful. And I think it's the Draven, that steel chair to the head of Brandon is definitely one way to start. Man. And now going to bring him from the outside back in. Going to go straight for the cover off the suplex. And Almost had him, got the 2 count though. It's right to the spine, and Draven is absolutely, he's on one right now. And we're seeing how violent this man can be. We're seeing how vicious this man can be. And this is probably something that Alex is probably taking all types of mental notes right now. Alex is probably taking all types of mental notes from Draven right now. And Draven is trying to show Alex the way, trying to show Alex that he can make it to the top if he just get a little vicious, if he taps in to that dark side, and to a certain extent it almost worked for Alex on several occasions. But the problem is Alex keeps getting, sidetracked. Showing off and stuff. Cut that out and he'll be in business. If he got the vicious streak, I can give you that much. And Draven clearly got the vicious streak because he's been showing it over the past few minutes here. Oh, man. Power bomb and the neck of Brandon practically snapping off that bottom row. We'll send him off into the corner. This isn't a good look for Brandon, and the flight into the German suplex. This is an ugly beatdown if you're Draven here. Oh man, Gorilla. Oh! Jeez. High up in the air, down he goes. Oh, and almost a 3 count while we at it. Almost a 3 count while we at it. We're going to continue this assault here on Brandon. And look at that, I'm raking the eyes. He's breaking the eyes of Brandon. Oh no, what the world? What was on this man's mind here? Oh, great counter there. Great counter from Brandon. Pulled him off into the rope. Drop kick. We'll throw them off into the corner with the drop kick. Sorry. Now throw them off into the rope. Hip toss, knee strike right to the mouth. Now Alex again causing a distraction once again. Seriously. And I'm kind of waiting. I'm kind of waiting for the day for Brandon and Alex to actually collide one-on-one. That's what I'm waiting on. I want that day to happen. I'm pretty sure if you're Alex or Brandon, I'm sure you probably just want to get drafted, get away from each other, admittedly. At least for Brandon's emotional sake. And right now, he's looking to get a win right now. And he's rallying the crowd here in Nashville, telling Draven to get up to his feet. Northern Light suplex. Dude is on a roll. Dude is cooking with gas now. Blue Thunder Bomb. Come on, man. He's wearing him down. He's doing his due diligence. Now you got to put him away. He's wearing him down. He's wearing him out. He's tired. He's tired, though. But that's winning. There he's crashing now. He might be moments away. He's setting up for this wolf kick. He probably might knock Draven heading to the front row. Got it. But Alec with the distraction. He got it. But Alec provided the distraction, which allowed Draven enough time to get back up to his feet. Northern Light suplex again. And now, wait a minute. Brandon going for that wolf kick again, kicking his head to the front row. Oh, that time Draven saw it coming. This time. Oh, man. God. Gee. 2 times in a row. Just leveling him. That's a wrap. Draven with a successful AOR debut. Wow. Draven's a whacked out human being, I promise you. But he gets the win here. Well, congratulations to the win on Draven. But we are about 2 episodes away from AOA and AOR presents Breaking Boundaries, a joint production pay-per-view. One of the first joint production pay-per-views in this series history. And this, I can promise you, is going to be a loaded card. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the matches. First and foremost, we have 2 Squad Up versus the Twisted Disciples AOA Tag Team Tournament Finals. 2 Squad Up has been really on the back foot as they've been taking a beating at the hands of the Twisted Disciples, but 2 Squad Up have recently fought back, showed that, hey, we can hang with these guys. So who's going to leave New York, the #1 contender, to the AOA Tag Team Championship? And then the question is, can the Millennium Riders prove that they are the here and now of tag team wrestling when they face Wolfpack? We saw Wolfpack pick up a win earlier tonight against Rays of Apocalypse, but can that momentum continue against the Millennium Riders? Because if Wolfpack are any type of complacent, as I said they were earlier, they may lose their tag team title. And then Gloria, Carmen, you didn't have to attack her because now you motivated her even more in this women's championship match, okay? Gloria has been waiting on this opportunity since she stepped foot in All Out Revolution. She's finally going to get it. Carmen, you might have awoken the beast when you did that. Let's see if it backfires or not. And then it's Ashley Knight, Chloe Sharp, last woman standing. We heard how personal these two feel about each other. We know how these two feel about each other. But the question is, who's going to be the last woman standing? Ashley Knight, Chloe Sharp. There's one place to find that out, and that's in New York City at Breaking Boundaries. And then the All Out Revolution World Championship is on the line. Nate Shields versus Jackson Wade. Jackson Wade has said Nate Shields is going to be a tougher challenge today, and I agree. But vice versa, I think Jackson is going to be one of Nate's toughest opponents to date. But either way, All Out Revolution World Championship is on the line. Can Nate get it done in his hometown? And then on the AOA side of things, Miss Wilcox versus Carolyn Amber for the AOA Women's Championship. Miss Wilcox better have a plan B, C, D, all the way down the list to beat Carolyn, especially since her little friend got taken out at the hand of Carolyn. Because if she doesn't, I have a feeling we're going to be walking out with a new AOA Women's Champion. And then it's Sean Wright versus Adrian Oakley. Now, Sean Wright has been kind of having to find his footing over the past few weeks. Finally picked up a win over Jason Wells. But Adrian Oakley has really been on a roll since winning that U.S. title. So, even though this match is non-title, just imagine what it can do for the stock of either of these two men to win at a big stage like Breaking Boundaries. And then the AOA World Championship is on the line. A2J versus Dave versus Mac Wolf in a triple threat match. Now, how healthy is Dave going to be after losing a Hell in a Cell match to Darren in that brutal affair? A2J not one to be slept on. Mac Wolf, we've seen his toughness in his I Quit match. But who's going to lead the AOA World Champion? And ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for your main event. Brian Dexter versus whoever the heck Jackson Wade has lined up for. You know, you gotta admire the toughness of Brian Dexter here. That's a fact. And successfully retaining it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your all-out revolution main event. Scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Miami, Florida, weighing in at 287 pounds, he is the current All-Out Revolution Global Champion, Brian Dexter. Brian Dexter successfully retaining that All-Out Revolution Global Championship against Brandino earlier tonight. And in return, he does get a match with Jackson Wade next episode. I can confirm that match is official. Brian Dexter versus Jackson Wade. If Brian wins, that last chance stipulation for RJ will be lifted. If not, then of course it stays in place. If Brian loses, that of course that stipulation of course stays in place. But that's pretty bold of Brian to step in like that, to do what he did, for RJ Miles, despite the fact that RJ Miles was kind of calling him a chump and chump changing him last episode. Which led to those two having a matchup for that global championship, with Jackson Wade interrupted. And that's probably another reason, but here we go. Who in the world is his opponent? No. Oh no. Oh no. This is, no man. Oh my goodness. I know this music. He's back. And his opponent from parts unknown, weighing in at 322-pound monster. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is known as Monster. The most dominant all-out action world champion we have ever had up to this point. And the last time we saw Monster in singles action was at All Out Action Conquer All pay-per-view when he lost to Dave in a #1 contender match. But I gotta ask, it's good, well, I guess, good to see him back here. But what in the world? Why is he on All Out Revolution 1? Because he's an All Out Action superstar. And 2, why is he doing a favor for Jackson Wade? Don't you think if you're a Monster, this is a golden opportunity for you to be back on All Out Action to potentially weaken Dave and weaken that entire roster for that matter, to get that AOA World Championship back? So I think Jackson definitely held true to his word when he said World Champion caliber opponent. This dude personifies that and then some. And if you're Brian Dexter, I don't know what the world you were thinking walking into this matchup, but you better have a game plan and you better find one quick. I wish Brian Dexter the best of luck. I know he's very young in his career, but if he's not careful, this might be his last matchup here. Ladies and gentlemen, main event is underway. If you watched up to this point, thank you. And if you haven't done so, you still feel inclined, feel free to click the like, comment, and subscribe, and also click the bell icon that we don't miss another upload. And I admire Brian for trying to strike away, trying to throw a strike at Monster, and he got one, but then immediately gets fired back on. Brian Dexter almost trying to scout this man, like, what the world do I got to do? He's throwing these quick strikes, they're landing, but Monster immediately is right back at him. And them shots dropped, and notice none of Brian's shots. Ooh, wow, what a punch. I don't think Brian was expecting any of this. And Brian is back to his feet, throwing a couple shots that got one off, and then Monster immediately decked him for it. Oh, what a clothesline, turning him inside out. Very few men have ever pinned Monster in a one-on-one environment. The only two people I can say that hold that honor are Dave and Darren. Practically it. Dave and Darren are probably the only two I know for a fact that have beaten Monster in a one-on-one environment. And now, oh no, this isn't looking good. Oh man! Oh, vicious power bomb and Monster going for the cover, and Brian kicking out at 1. It is pretty early in this matchup, so I'll give him that. I mean, props to the toughness of Brian Dexter here, going in against a former world champion. Oh, AOA first ever world champion on top of that. Now look at this. Oh man, and not only the first ever world champion, the first ever 2-time world champion. Brian Buster absolutely dropping Brian Dexter. Talk about coming into a talk about being thrown off the game if you're Dexter. I mean, out of everybody in that locker room, I don't think anybody was expecting this. A vicious clothesline from Monster, dropping Dexter in a 2 count this time. Oh, no, wait a minute, look at that. The curve, they're not going to take a play out of Dexter's playbook. If you're Monster in that regard. Look at that, gonna flip him through. Oh! Really driving him down. Fake first. Stiff right hand, and now look at that, just manhandling. Absolutely manhandling Brian Dexter. Talk about being in trouble if you are Dexter in this one. On first again. Swing them back the other way. The spine of Brian Dexter getting completely ripped apart into a fall-away slam. You got to commend the toughness of, first, the savviness of Jackson. A high level of disrespect. Roll him to the outside. And Monster admittedly, I believe he got the capability to end this match whenever the heck he... No! Oh! Tombstone on the floor. And we've seen him use that move to put opponents away. And this time he just tombstone Brian out on the floor. That's it. I mean, that's absolutely it. He got tombstone on the floor. Look at that. Just kicking dirt back on him. Brian Dexter's up. I mean, props to this guy for that. But the inverted power slam. The inverted slam right there. And Monster straight into a cover. Yeah, that's... Oh! 2.5 on the part of Dexter, but if you're Dexter, dude, save your energy, man. I mean, this is exactly what Jackson wants. He knows that Brian is going to be a fighter. He knows that Brian's not going to back down. He knows Brian is not going to quit. But given the competition he's in the ring with, man, I mean, to save your energy for Jackson Wade, if anything. I'm just saying. That's my take, man. Let's see how Brian does. Looks like he's finally getting some offense here, throwing him straight into the corner. And they go for a suplex. Delayed. Oh, never mind. Jackhammer. But Brian's not gonna go for the come off of that, because he knows he gotta do a lot more damage to put this man down. 3 count anyway. Brian Dexter showing off his strength right there. You definitely can't knock that part of him. German suplex. German suplex. Lamar is right back up. Oh! And immediately gets catches him with a discus throw. This is just... That's some foul stuff. Clothesline in the corner. He's talking to stuff. Talking to stuff and he's dominated by Martha just putting him down. He's waiting on Brian Dexter with a back elbow. Trying to turn it around. Catching him with an elbow, dropping him, but he's immediately right back up and the elbow not dropping him. That time the elbow taking him into the corner. Now Brian Dexter going to put him up on the top rope. This ain't a good look. This ain't a good look for this big man at all. Wait a minute. He got him up over his shoulder. Look at that. Chef Valley driver taking him down. Beautiful work there from Dexter. Do what he can, try to wear the big man out. Dropping him on his head and neck. That's a good way to do it. Since they have a hard time walking, if you break his neck. That's the way to wear him down. You got to keep on that, though. Release German suplex again. Yo, you want to talk about a win? You want to talk about a win for the record book? If he pulls this off, F5 to the big man. Straight into a cover immediately. 2. And he only gets a 2 count. Brian Dexter is absolutely stunned. That was only a 2 count. And we think Monster took a beating and still keep the fight rolling. On to the outside. Here we go. Oh, shoulder tackle dropping him to the floor. And if you're Jackson, you're smiling from ear to ear a bit. And if you're Nate Shields, you're probably absolutely stunned. Because Nate Shields and Monster haven't seen each other since their days, probably the final day of All Out Action as as Nate Shield and ended up going to NXT and then shot right there. And ever since the start of the season, Nate Shield has been on All Out Revolution. And so this is basically, fun fact, Monster is actually part of the New World Nation. So this is a New World Nation member. Monster beating the brakes off of Brian Dexter, which is the guy that, good grief. Oh, what a vile shot. A spine buster. And now, this might be over if you're Brian Dexter here, man. This is just, crazy. He got up to, I don't know how much more this man can take. I don't know how much more this man can do. I don't know how much more Brian Dexter is able to handle. But he's going to give it everything he got. That much I can promise you. Brian Dexter getting up to his feet. I mean, prop to the man. He's a tough individual. This tombstone's about to end it, though. But wait a minute. Brian flipped it through. Tombstone of his own. Tombstone of his own. And doing the mocking of it all. Trading to the cover here. And he almost had it. Almost had it. Brian Dexter is showing he can hang in there with World Championship caliber athlete. Bulldog. This crowd in Nashville about to turn up, man. This crowd in Nashville is about to turn all the way up here. Brian stepping to the outside. Going up to the top rope now. Now we don't see Brian do this at all, so you know there's got to be some desperation stuff. Brian got him in trouble. Gonna go for a cross body. Gonna go for a cross body. Didn't nearly get the distance on that. No good reason why he doesn't really go to the top row. Now we're gonna try to get. Monster sits right back up. Monster sits right back up on this one. Trying to go for it again, and that time he got it. First one didn't work out. Second time worked like a charm. Curb stomp, baby. Got it. Curb stomp, got him. Brian may be pulling off something crazy. Brian may pull off a straight up miracle here if he can get it. Throwing right to the back. Never mind to that. Immediately thrown to the outside and the head of Brian bouncing off of those steps. Talk about an ugly sight, ugly landing for Dexter. Oh no. Once I got him up high overhead. The word of the man lives. Goodness. That sit-out powerbomb with the head of Brian Dexter smashing against those steel steps. That's a concussion if I've ever seen it. That's a tombstone if I've ever seen it. And now look at that. Look at this. This is done. I mean, Brian's probably concussed at this point. This is done. Tombstone again. That's the second done. That's the second done. That's it. Wow. That's a wrap, man. That's a wrap. And then Monster, here's your winner. Monster picking up the win, doing the bidding. Jackson Wade. He probably did his job in weakening Brian Dexter. But what an outing for Dexter. Took it to a world champ like that. Wait a minute. Andino and Jackson Wade, what the world? wait to knock the head off of Brandino. And Jackson Wade is now just stomping out Brandino here. And this is probably for the loss. If I can think of anything this is for. Oh, goodness. This is probably for the loss from earlier tonight. The world. Jackson Wade. They just beating the daylights out of Brandino here. What is this? Oh, man. Is Brandino excommunicated now? Is he out of Top Class Warriors now? What is this about? And again, I can only assume this is just a loss from earlier tonight. The daylights out of this man. And Brandino kind of came back to a feet, but Jackson Wade was leaving. Are we starting to see a little bit of dysfunction in the camp of Top Class Warriors? And Jackson Wade is going to be facing Brian Dexter next week, but until then, ladies and gentlemen, good night from Nashville. Wow.